Welcome to ANS Solver, question 10 of this paper. So for part A1, they are asking us to calculate the radius of the sphere. They've given us the volume and we know the formula for finding the volume of a sphere as they've given it to us. So 4 divided by 3 pi r cube is equal to the volume in this case, which is 24,430. So now all we have to do is solve for r cube. So we can take the rest to the other side of the equation. So r cube is equal to 24,430 divided by pi, or divided by 4 by 3 multiplied by pi. That whole thing is in the denominator. So your final answer would be r cube is equal to 5,832.2328, and therefore r would be equal to the cube root of this. So cube root of 5,832.23289 is equal to 18.00023, and since we need to give our answer in 3 significant figures, your final answer would be 18.0 centimeters, and therefore this will be your final answer for part A1. Now let's move to part A2. So for part A2, they are telling us that the metal sphere's face is placed into an empty tank. The tank is a cylinder with a radius 50 centimeters, standing on its circular base. Water is poured into the tank to a depth of 60 centimeters, and they are asking us to calculate the number of liters of water needed. Okay, so this is really easy. All we need to do is find the volume of the tank and minus the volume of the metal sphere. So then we'll get to know the answer, or we'll get our answer for part A2. So the volume of a cylinder is the area of the base multiplied by the height. So that would be pi r square h. Now we know that r would be, as they've given it to us, as 50. So pi r square, so 50 square, multiplied by the height, in this case, which they've given it to us, the depth as 60 centimeters, and we simply subtract the volume of the sphere from this. So that they've given us in the question before, that is 24,430. So we subtract 24,430. Therefore, all we need to do is simplify this. Now 50 square multiplied by 60 multiplied by pi is equal to 150,000 pi, minus 24,430. So your final answer for part A2 would be 446,808.898, and now centimeter cube to liter would only be possible if we divide the centimeter cube by 1000. So when we divide this by 1000, we will get our answer as 446.808898, and since we need to give our answer in 3 significant figures, your final answer will be 447 liters, because the fourth significant figure, which is 8 in this case, is greater than or equal to 5, so we'll round off the third significant figure to the next number. Therefore 447 liters will be our final answer for part A2. Now let's move to part B of this question. So for part B, they are asking us to find the time it takes to fill the tank. Now to do that, first let's calculate the volume of the tank, which would be 1.8 multiplied by 1.5 multiplied by 1.2. Now this is in meter cube, but we need to get it in the same unit as the rate at which the water flows in, that is centimeter cube. So we multiply this answer by 100, because usually from meter to centimeter you multiply by 100, but since it is in the unit of meter cube and centimeter cube, you will multiply it by 100 raised to 3. And so this would give you the volume of the tank. And now to find the time that it takes, we simply divide it by 200 centimeter cube. So you would finally get, or you can simply put this into your calculator. You would get 1.8 multiplied by 1.5 multiplied by 1.2 multiplied by 100 raised to 3 divided by 200. So you would get your answer as 16,200 seconds. This, and they are asking you to give your answer in hours and minutes. So to convert seconds to hours and minutes, what you do is you divide by 60. So when you divide seconds by 60, it will be converted to minutes. And if you divide it further by 60, it will be converted to hours. So 16,200, 16,200 divided by, just 1 second, divided by 3,600, because you divided by 60 twice. So 60 multiplied by 60 is 3,600, my bad. So you can cancel the two zeros. Therefore, your final answer would be 162 divided by 36, which is equal to 4.5 hours. And 4.5 hours would be 4 hours and 30 minutes. And therefore, this would be our final answer for part B of this question. Now let's move to part C. Part C. So for part C, they are asking us to calculate the width of the smaller shape. So they have given us the width of the bigger shape and the area, and they've given us the area of the smaller shape. So this is really easy. All you need to do is divide the width of the bigger shape with the width of the smaller shape, or vice versa. So let's do x divided by 17 is equal to the area. Now if you've used the area of the bigger shape in the numerator, then you will use the side. If you've used the width of the area of the bigger shape, not width of the area, width of the shape in the numerator, then you will use the area of the bigger shape in the numerator as well. Basically, you keep the bigger shape's area and width in the numerator, both in the numerator or both in the denominator. So x by 17 is equal to 159.5 divided by 295. Now the area has a unit of centimeter square, whereas the width has a unit of centimeter. So to get it in the same unit, what you do is you square the width. So now all you need to do is solve for x. So let's take the square to the other side of the equation. So it will become x divided by 17 is equal to the square root, because when you take the exponent to the other side of the equation, becomes the root of that exponent. So in this case, since we are taking square to the other side, it will become square root of this fraction. So the root of this fraction, that is 159.5 divided by 295, would be equal to 0.73530807. Therefore x will be equal to 17 multiplied by this decimal number, which is equal to 12.50023. And since we need to give our final answer in 3 significant figures, your final answer would be 12.5 centimeters, because the fourth significant figure in this case, which is 0, is lesser than or equal to 5. So it won't round off the third significant figure to the next number. Therefore 12.5 centimeters will be your final answer for part C of this question.